I forget that, and it's just like halfway through, I'm like, no, hate
Oh, I've
that.
done that. Yeah, I've done that before. I started
Oh,
like live streaming it to my Facebook group whenever my clients were with me. Yeah, it made it a lot easier. I didn't have to put it on YouTube, send out the link or anything like that.
hmm, that's an interesting idea. And then it just stays in the group.
And then whoever comes gets to start watching all the old stuff too. I just let them have access to it.
Yeah, because I upload it to YouTube and then I post the link. But then also people that follow me that have access to the YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to change how I do things. I love it. I
It's pretty
love it.
interesting.
Stacy, tell us
Oh.
your wins this week.
I was just sitting here thinking about that. Well, my husband and I are going to celebrate 16 years of marriage um,
Yeah,
in a day.
six. Okay,
So that's good.
good. Is it?
Yeah, it is. It
Mm,
is. It's hard to believe, that you've been with somebody for 20 years. Um,
it
sometimes,
is. It is. I
but
totally get that. Yes,
I mean,
but
it's
that's
definitely,
a big deal.
yeah, it is. It's not easy, but, we're doing it. So I guess that's my win.
It's a thing. It's a good thing to be proud of. Through all the ups and the downs and the twists and the turns. And you've been there where you've chosen to walk away. We've all been there, and it's so interesting to live this journey in this life because a lot of I'm in now a relationship with someone I had fallen in love with 27 years ago, and now between the 5 marriages and divorces, like we found our way back to this. And it's like, I told him this morning, we have a call every morning, and I was like, it makes it feel like I felt a lot of shame with the breaking of all of those, marriages. And even the last one was really hard to walk away from because I'm like, oh my gosh, am I just not cut out for this? Like, am I just not wife material? I'm picking poorly and all this. And it's just like, I felt so much shame that I was another failure, another thing failed, and it's like, it's just a journey. It's the sifting and the sorting. And now that Brian and I have reconnected, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, that's why that wasn't all working. It really, no, it was really meant to be him. And there's just a peace in knowing that. But all of the highs and the lows and the journeys of pain and shame, and it just makes all of that still worth it because of everything you learn along the way. And it's kind of like, I wish we didn't break up, but then I'm like, but then we wouldn't be the people we are today if we didn't. So it just makes you just so grateful for every experience that you've had, and it makes me embrace the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, and I think it's fantastic, and maybe you don't know where the future holds for you guys, but 16 years and 20 you said together because you were,
Yeah.
I guess, dated for a while.
Yeah, we were
Oh.
actually long distance for a year and a half before he moved to Missouri, which is where I was then. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, that's got its own challenges all by itself, which, as you know,
Oh, yeah,
um,
yeah.
but I sometimes feel like, you know, that teaches you a lot too, like what you're, what you can handle. And, if you want something bad enough, you will make it work, or you will try, you will do your best. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, it's just hard for me to believe that it's been 20 years. And, like I said, I mean, it's had ups and downs, and it's back and forths. And, um, you know, you just hope that we're all making the right decision all the time, you know?
Yeah, I get that. There is no wrong, I don't think, though. I think there just is, and what you glean from it is what you choose to glean from it. And it's funny because I think it's great. I think being together that long is great because I can just think of all the things, all of the different people I have been in the last 25 years or so, how different parts of me have grown and different parts of me have been suppressed, and like how I've just evolved into the person that I am now. I don't think I would have wanted Brian to see all of that. Because, like, he's like, honey, you would not have liked me from like age 28 to about 5 years ago. And it's like, it makes you really appreciate that when you can go through both people growing and molding into these people they are today and being able to do that. Sometimes that you feel more disconnected because one's growing a certain way and the other one maybe is in a different place and you feel more disconnected. And then all of a sudden one grows and meets you where you're at and you guys find this reconnection point, but I don't necessarily believe marriage is meant to be, we are both growing the same direction at the same pace at all times. It just is not like that. You're still two very individual people and on your own journey and own path, and being able to respect that, hey, you do you're doing whatever it is that you need to do for you because you are still your own person, and I'm going to be over here doing mine, staying in your lane. We talked about that, how to stay in your own lane, and it can get blurry when in a marriage, because then there's expectations that we don't even know we have, and things that we were told and we believed growing up because that's what how we were raised, and just challenging all of those beliefs and principles that we may have had instilled in us at a young age that may not apply to us anymore, and being with that same person and changing in that drastic of a way. I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to do that and remain with the same person. I don't have that experience. I've changed. I feel like when I talk about who I was in my first, second, and third marriages, I feel like I'm talking about another person. It's not me, and so, everyone just has their own journey, and I think there's no right or wrong. There just is. I think your growth has been beautiful, amazing.
Yeah, because
Amy,
where
how
I,
about
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No.
No, where I was when I first met you is a totally different place than where I am today. When we had that conversation, and I just, I mean, I think I've grown a lot closer to making things work and trying to do better with that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
giving it my best shot, where
Yeah.
before I was kind of shutting down. I was in shutdown
Mm-hmm.
mode, you know. So
And you don't get really anywhere doing that.
no,
You
we were
can't
getting nowhere doing
move
that.
forward. Right. Yeah. And that's a self-preservation thing. And I've had that same defense mechanism happen in me. What did I tell Brian when we first even started seeing each other? I will not get married. I will not cohabitate. I will not blend anything. And he's like, okay, got it. And then I'm like throwing all of that out the window 10 weeks later. It's just, I was protecting. I was very shut down to all of that and being open to all of that, and blending's hard. It's challenging in its own way. And but it's just this journey. It's life. It's not meant to necessarily be easy, The things that are difficult are the things that give us opportunities to grow. And if we can look at it like that instead of avoiding conflict or challenge or whatever, and it's like we can literally take a step back and say, what do I have to learn from this? How am I going to grow in this? And I've grown in ways that I never imagined I would grow. And I'm grateful for that. I mean, I have a lot more to go too, Does anybody else want to share some wins?
You know, this week was I'm really struggled over the weekend. So I look so when today being Wednesday, I look back and I'm like, "Ah, I don't know if I have any wins." Just because the weekend I struggle. I'm struggling like Monday through Friday, I'm on point, I'm structured, I'm disciplined, I'm focused, and then Friday evening hits and everything I know is out the window. And some weekends are better than others. Some weekends I still maintain control. And then this last weekend, I didn't get a lot of sleep. And when I don't get a lot of sleep, I tend to eat junk food. And so I don't know if I have any wins this week, but I'm here. I'm on the call and I'm
That's a
focused and
win.
I'm focused and back to being disciplined. I just want to, I wish I could figure out how to keep my shit together on Friday, Saturday.
Well, we may have that opportunity right here for you because I think it's, there's been so much growth that's happened with you, Jamie, as well. And like you've made some big strides and big shifts in the trajectory of your life.
Yes.
And that doesn't, it's not always going to be smooth. In fact, I don't know if it's ever smooth
You're
when you make things like that and you're growing, you're healing, you're acknowledging. Like that acknowledging of things is, I think, a win.
yeah.
That's a win. Your wins don't have to be, I made it, or this is now no longer an issue. It's it's showing up. That's a win. That's like what I always tell everybody. I'm just like, the only way you will fail is if you stop showing up. And a win is you're struggling, but still showing up. That's your win. That's huge. And that I kind of feel like a bigger win. And then I don't want to say there's a scale of them, but when everything's going smooth and it's easy to say, yeah, I'm winning in this. But when it's not, and you're still showing up for yourself in the absolute best way that you can, when before you wouldn't have, those are your wins. You're making different choices for yourself. So it's now we're only dealing with really the weekend stuff. Okay, we're great during the week. That's fantastic. Like that's really good. And that's actually kind of the busier part and the more stressful time. And the weekends, less stress, but now we're needing to find a little bit more structure there. Like it's growth. That's your win. And I see it every week for sure. So I know Courtney's got kids and homeschooling and stuff. So you're welcome to share, Courtney, of any of your wins this week. She's got all kinds of things going on. She homeschools her daughter or her children. And so I told her to hop on anyway and just listen. And we have it recording, right? Are we recording? Perfect. Let's make sure I am. Maisie, I'm going to hand it over to you, darling. I'm so glad you're here with us.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I'm excited to be here again for another month. I heard y'all had some awesome takeaways from the last one, so that's good. Couple of things that I want to note. So before we begin, Jamie, your self-awareness is a win in and of itself. So congratulate yourself, pat yourself on the back because you see where changes can be made and where you can grow even more. I would strongly recommend just sitting down with some kind of routine that's easy, that's not super structured, but that's feasible for you on the weekends. Because when my clients would have those issues, I made them come up with a weekend routine, just less structure. It's just because we're creatures of habit and we're used to those structures.
Sure.
So just some points there. But what I wanted to talk about today for you guys is we're going to title this Rejection is God's Protection. Because just like we were
Ooh,
talking about, just like we were
I'll write
talking
that
about like at
down.
the beginning of this call, when we're going through a lot of hardships in our life or, we've got this big goal in our mind and we feel like we're being stepped back or it's like it's eluding us, like the results are just not coming, then we get to a place where we start to try to be more in control. Right. We don't take a step back and try to reevaluate. We're trying to gain more control. Well, how do I fix this? How do I make this work? Now I really want this to work. but we're trying to do it ourselves, right? We're not letting go of the how things are going to come into play. We're still putting our hands in the buckets and trying to make a mess out of everything. And that's really what it is. Because when you're in this place of spinning your wheels over and over, and this could be emotional, this could be shit in a marriage, this could be anything. I mean, I am currently going through divorce. Welcome to my childhood living space. So I moved back in with my parents, got my 3 kids here. I mean, like, it's chaos, and my kids' stuff is in here too. So but when we're at that place where we feel like, we were talking about shame just a few minutes ago, and it's weird because it's not weird, it's amazing. Because I've been sitting in that. Did I do something wrong? Should I have done more? Should I, like, how much more could I have done? Where's the proof in the changes or the words that are being said? And there's not, right? There's no proof in the pudding other than I made the best decision for myself. And now I'm feeling shame or guilt or whatever around maybe I didn't do the right thing. Right. And again, this could be marriage related. This could be workout related. It could be eating healthy related. Like, we're still wanting to do more. And we have this innate nature to, if I do more, then I'll get one step closer. 9 times out of 10, when we are doing more, we are pushing ourselves so far back that we get into this failure mode. And then we're getting into a space of, oh shit, now I need to survive. Like, if we're looking at, if you've ever read the book, The Slight Edge, it's a really powerful book. It's really awesome. But it talks about this line. All right. We have this baseline, all of us. And when we dip down, we get into failure mode and we start to get in like that negative space, that frantic of worry, doubt, fear, or this place of lack and uncertainty sits here, right? But we do things, we notice it very quickly, and it's like, oh, shit, I gotta do something more to get back to my baseline. 9 times out of 10, we tend to just thrive at this baseline, and then sometimes we'll go a little bit more into success mode. We'll start to see things go up and up and up, but it's never a straight path. Right? We can come down a little bit from it, where we're not going back to our baseline. We're coming down to a different point. I want you to think of your growth as a place of, it's a new baseline. Your growth is a new baseline for you. You're not coming back to start back at the beginning. You're just coming back to a place of recognition and self-awareness of, oh, I need to make some changes, right? And so what I want to like go with that is it becomes a place of radical acceptance, okay? Which means that everything that we desire is available for us, right? We have to trust it's done. I had a client, and I'll just give you an example because I did health coaching for so long. I had a client where I asked her, I said, what is your desired weight loss goal? Okay, now this girl came to me at 180 pounds. In 9 months, she wanted to hit to 135. And she was like, but that's totally impossible. I was like, well, it is today because that's what you're claiming. And we changed it. And she was like, well, I don't know. I said, why don't we just start with small steps? Because here's the thing. When we're looking at large leaps in our life, we can't see what that looks like because we've not experienced it. Right? We have to sit in this moment of being. And look, I have been preaching on this so much here lately, but I want to share with you guys. This is a diagram, right? This is my diagram. We have 2 different ways of living here. Okay. Society says we have to do the things in order to have the things that we want, in order to be the person. Right? So if we want to be 130 pounds and feeling fantabulous and like no joint aches and pains, less than migraines, we're not passing out whenever we walk. This woman would literally stand up and literally pass out on the floor and have to have somebody there with her. She wanted to be very independent, wanted to be able to drive again. She's legally blind, wanted to be able to drive again. And in 9 months, she got all of that. Why? Because I made her change the script. We went from being to doing the things to having the results. In order for us to live in this place of radical acceptance, knowing that our hopes and dreams are already done, right? It's already done. It's already out there. I don't care how it happens. I just need to know that it's done. I can watch everything unfold. We need to go back to being like children and having an imagination. Seeing a rainbow for the first time. Oh, where did it come from? I mean, think about it. When you're that young, you don't care how it happens. You're just mesmerized by what happens of it, right? The what, not the how. Nobody cares about the how. You have to release those things, right? You have to accept that nothing means nothing. So if today you stepped on the scale and you saw that you're, 0.1, 0.2, 0.5 pounds heavier, but yet 3 days from now, somehow magically you drop 2 pounds, make it mean nothing on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't mean anything. The moment that you get on the scale, even on your check-in day, doesn't mean anything. All it is a determining factor between you and gravity.
Yep.
This can go in with your mindset, your goals for anything. So like on days where I don't hear from people, and I could go days without hearing from people. I could go almost an entire month where nobody's interested in my program until the last week of the month. And then I magically hit my sales goal. Don't make your days mean anything. Don't attach it to an outcome. It doesn't mean anything. Be in the here and now. Enjoy the moments that you do have. Right? Same thing goes with any of our progress. This can go into a life of anxiety, right? Don't make the days mean anything. This can go into a marriage. Don't make the days mean anything. Focus on you. Show up for you. Be authentically you. So we need to get clear of asking what is for our highest good and then releasing the rest. If you're meant to be 130 pounds, and by the way, this woman had ended up, she's now my assistant in what I do today for trauma healing. And she ended up dropping to her lowest of 128 pounds. She went to a graduation party this past week because she used to be a teacher. She now drives. So she has been given the ability to drive again. She bought her a car, manifested a job, pays for her own bills, and she is like this independent new woman. So she went to a graduation party over the weekend and she was telling me about it. And she said, students were coming up to me and they had no idea who I was. They were like, Miss Jenna, Jenna who? And then they would be like, oh my gosh, like, look how fabulous you look. She came from being over 300 pounds 6 years ago. So don't put today as a meaning of what the future will hold. Show up for yourself. Show up in accountability. Show up in the name of whatever is your highest good. And always tell yourself, if it's either going to be this or something better will manifest for me now in the decisions that I make today and the choices that I do. You have to trust that what you want is on its way to you. Look at the evidence of it. Believe, put the belief out there. And it's a lot of work because if you're not there and you've been in a place where you've been conditioned for so long that you have to work hard to get exactly what you want to earn it, that's not how it is. We have to reprogram those patterns. So you have to trust that what it is that you want is on its way. This or something better awaits for me now. You also need to know when to fold your cards, right? So, and I say it like this because we tend to attach this to failure. right? And it's awesome that we're on this topic, because failure in my brain is not failing at all. It's actually taking a step back and reevaluating the next step forward. It means that what you've been doing up until this point is no longer working, and there needs to be an adjustment. So it's not a moment of, oh my gosh, I didn't lose any weight this week, or maybe I even gained weight this week, and now I'm beating myself in the dirt for it because I did all these things. Okay, but mentally and emotionally, what was going on that led there? 9 times out of 10, when we are having issues with our weight, it's a trauma issue. There's pieces, and I was talking about this in one of my live videos today, of emotions are energy. We have an energetic field, an energetic body. And when we have so much negative emotions that are just thrown at us that we're holding on to, it becomes burdens. Burdens sit in our energetic body as resentments, right? Or negative things that we don't want to hold on to, but yet we don't know how to get rid of it. It's just stuck there. In order for us to lose weight physically, we have to get up and move, right? Because that's just how our body gets rid of toxins. Your energetic body is no different. You have to move and release those negative trapped emotions. If you're struggling with a lot of resentment, it's because there's a lack of forgiveness. And majority of the time, it's going to be a lack of forgiveness within yourself. You're holding on to too much hurt from your past, and you got too much self-blame, right? So there needs to be a repositioning of those things. Failure is not failing. It's taking a step back to reevaluate. And then being in a place of surrender. This is the hardest thing, because even for me, I used to have so much masculine energy. Like, I always wanted to be in control of everything. I was like, no, this has to go this way, and it has to be perfect. Nobody else can do it but me. But that's not the case, right? That's too much masculine energy. We are not meant to be in that much masculine energy all the dang time. That's exhausting. Think of it like yin and yang, right? Yin energy is your feminine energy. What makes you feel more feminine? What puts you in that place? Going through this divorce, I wear more makeup now than I've ever worn before, because I'm like, damn it, I am confident and beautiful, and I'm going to show it. I have been putting on nails. I can go get my nails done because I'm not that bougie, and I work out a crap ton because I'm a bodybuilder. But I was like, I'm going to try glue-on nails. Glue-on nails are the best things ever invented by mankind. Because I feel like a rock star. And I'm like, damn, I feel good today. Do what makes you feel more. See how you're smiling, how you're laughing with all of this? What makes you feel like that? Where do those emotions come from? What can you give back to yourself when you're in a dark place, or you're putting too much shame, guilt, resentment, blame, all these things onto yourself, and you're packing it in there? How do you get up and move out of that? All right. So surrender to what is, surrender to your goals and dreams, right? Speaking that out loud every day. Look at yourself in the mirror and just be like, I surrender to you, you fabulous bitch. That's what you need to say, because when you're looking in the mirror, you can do 2 things. You can look at yourself as a part of your higher self who is going to give you the best advice standing in front of you for the day. So I write a letter to myself every morning from my higher self. And I will tell you, my pen gets to going and I have no idea what the heck I'm writing. When I'm done, I usually have to go back and read it, because I'm like, I got all this. I wrote this. I don't remember writing this. No, because you're in a place of writing from your higher self. What message does she have to give you today? Who does she need you to be today so you can be who she is down the road?
Yes.
You know, what is it? And today, it was a place of acceptance. Like, that's where I have been, is be in a place of radical acceptance. I have never been in this place in my life to sit down and just be. Like when people say be still, it's like I'm like my oldest daughter. Okay, but can I fidget? Can I move? What do I do? Like she's
Sure.
got some she's got some ADHD, and she's like, I got all this energy, mama. And I've looked at her astrology charts. She's an 8 out of 10 on masculinity. Bless her heart and the man she marries, because this girl's gonna come with a whip, okay? She is like that dominating of a person, but she's got so much masculine energy to give. She has a heart full of gold. This girl will give you the shirt off her back. She told me the other day. So we have where Nick has visitation, and he came over to sit at the house, at my parents' house, to be with the kids. And she goes, I'm gonna come sit by you. Why? Now she is my mini me, and she is her mama's heart. And she was like, I don't like seeing you sit by yourself alone. That warmed my heart. I was like, this is why you got so many friends, girlfriend, because you give so much. And I told her, I said, sometimes you need to sit and receive.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about giving a hug. You gotta
Yep.
get a hug. And I told her, like when mama hugs you, don't just hold me because you want to hold mama. Let mama hold you. Right. And being in that place of that feminine energy to receive, right? Like your left side is your receiving side, your right side is your giving side. If you are giving more than you are taking in, you have nothing to give. You're literally closing your hand to the world, saying, I don't need you. Let me give all of me. And that's where we fall into a trap of people pleasing, being dominated by other people. Shit, we fall into covert narcissistic relationships because it's that dominance and control that we feel that we need, because we feel that the person genuinely does care, but it's because we don't know how to receive things from ourselves. We don't know how to give our hands back to ourselves. You can't give your hands to other people if you're not giving to you first. So I did some energetics today on some people in the room. All right. So different people that might be going through some issues. And I've pinpointed about 4 issues that I think might be where some people are. So there's some of you today that are trying to force something that you keep hearing the word no to, but you want it so badly. And you're doing everything in your power to keep it or make it work. And it's not meant to work for you. It is time for you to cut the cord and let it go. Accept that rejection is your protection. There are some of you that have a question that you've been asking and you're being told no, but you just don't want to accept the answer, and you're asking for newer ways of it to come about. Again, this is about releasing what is not meant for you. There are some of you that are giving too much meaning to different things. So you might be the type like I used to be, where people would unsubscribe from my email list. And I used to attach myself to that, and I'd be like, they hate me. What is the reality of this? Do they really hate me? No. They just don't want to hear my shit anymore. Okay. Let's just be friends. It's totally fine. Giving something meaning is like when I go almost an entire month, then people just start coming in like out of the woodwork towards the end of the month, and they're like, man, I want to join Maisie's program. I want to be in her group trauma healing that she just put out. I want to be in her private mentorship. Pick me, right? Making it mean something means that every day I'm sitting here and I'm like, am I a failure? It's too quiet. There's nobody texting me. There's nobody asking about my programs. Nobody liked my post today. Detach. Make it mean nothing. I don't make any of it mean anything, because I know eyes are watching no matter what, right? Same thing. Make every day mean nothing. Whether it's in you just show up for you. That is all you're doing, is your part. Showing up, just like Leo was saying. Show up for you. You can't show up for anybody else. You can only show up for you. So stop giving so much meaning to everything that's out there. Like when you don't get a text back very quickly. So here's another thing. Having been in so many, narcissistic relationships, there have been 4, and having been married for 7 years, that long,
Yeah.
I would get to a point where I was continuously asking myself, what am I doing wrong? Why are you not talking to me today? Are you mad at me? Did I do something? Are you okay? Do I need to check in on you? The Lord, help me if I'm having a bad day. Well, you need to cater to my needs. Make it mean nothing. Don't attach yourself to that, because you're not hearing back from this person, because you're not, like, I'm having to learn to sit and be silent by myself. And I still have my kids, so I have full custody of them right now. And sitting in this is like, my phone doesn't blow up as much. And it's quiet. And I don't know what to do with myself. Should I go outside? Should I go play? I've been playing dodgeball every day with my kids. And they're like, pick me, hit me with the ball. And I'm running around being free, but opportunities that I may have had before, but energetically, I couldn't take them. I had to be doing other things. I had to be cooking and cleaning and preparing and making sure everything was perfect. I don't have to do any of that shit anymore. I get to choose me first. And let me tell you, I'm starting to spoil myself for choosing me first.
I did the
And
same thing.
it just feels so freeing. I'm like, damn it.
I have
Let's
$5,000
go.
worth of yoga pants after I got divorced.
Hey, tattooed on your body. It's like, yes, I'm free.
That's exactly what I'm doing right here on this ring finger. Look, every time I would get a tattoo, he would always ask me, how come you didn't get a tattoo on your ring finger? And I'm like, I forgot. Because I never wore my wedding band. Not out of spite or anything, but I'm in the gym. It's my grandmother's set.
Yeah.
And they were too big, and they literally could not get it down anymore. It was a size 4. And they were like, ma'am, we won't have enough metal to be able to make you a ring. And I was like, that's fine. I will just wear it whenever I dress up. And I would, unless I was going through prep and it would just be like, boom, and it'd fall off, because I never wanted to lose it. But it was also a part of me that was saying, I could hear protect, protect, protect.
Yeah.
Because I knew this day was gonna come. And now I'm like, shit, I want a phoenix right here. This big old bird rising up from her ashes. Like that's what I'm in the process of doing right now. I already talked to my tattoo guy. Why? Because I no longer feel trapped. Not just because I walked away, but because I chose me.
Right.
I could have stayed and still chose me. And I did for years. And I still felt free, but I didn't feel as free as I do today. So stop giving meaning to different things. It doesn't mean anything, right? And and I know this is hard for some people just because of values, but like my husband would always wear his wedding band. And again, I never wore mine. It wasn't until he stopped wearing it that I was like, okay, I like this. Not in a negative way, but because I no longer gave it any meaning. It was a ring. I didn't give it any meaning. It didn't change anything. It didn't make a difference whether we were married or not married. Legally, we were married. Don't give it any meaning. Stop giving so much meaning to things. And then finally, some of you have had red flags and are refusing to acknowledge or believe that it is a sign for you to walk the other way. This is not necessarily a relationship thing, because I know some of you have shared that. This is a sign of something that you are doing to and for yourself, or doing against yourself in this situation. there's red flags that are showing up for you that personally you need to take care of. You're in this place of doing things over and over and over and over, but you're not getting any further. You might get a little small step further, but it is not a large leap. If you're not making large leaps and you're not up leveling very quickly, then you're not healing. You're still holding all that energy and that trauma right here, keeping it close, keeping it protected, so that way you can wall up that heart and be like, whew, nope, not doing that again. I refuse to let my walls down. I'm just going to guard myself so that I protect myself. But again, remember that comes back around in karma. And another thing with not giving something so much meaning, karma is not a negative word, it is a neutral word. We always hear karma and we think bad things. No, there's bad karma and there's good karma. Karma is just what goes around is going to come right back around to you. So if you're holding out and not giving yourself to the world in a very loving state and in forgiveness and open state, you're not going to get any of that back to you. There is and I want to send it to you, Leah. There is it's a morning meditation. Let me see if I can get it pulled up. And it's something that I started, a friend of mine sent it to me, and I have been doing it each morning. So it's by Sophia Spallino. I'm going to type that in the chat. And it's called My Healing. And I want you guys it's about 5 minutes.
Perfect.
I want you guys to go listen to it. So I started doing it. I listened to it yesterday. It fell in my lap yesterday, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need this every day of my life. And so when I go do my morning cardio and I go walk, I listen to this and I just embody everything that she is saying.
Yeah.
Because I am in a place of, there's walls. I don't want to tear that down. I don't want to tear that down for nobody. I mean, no, I'm protected. Yeah, but I'm also not giving anything back. So how do I dare receive what I desire? Because if we're being honest, I want somebody who loves me and adores me. I want somebody who makes me feel like a queen. This is a queen chess piece, by the way, because she's the baddest bitch on the chessboard.
That's right.
I want that for myself, but I have to have an open heart. Can't be closed. I can't be pulled back or drawn away. There are times, so I've had a couple of guy friends, and I mean, they're very loving creatures. Both of these guys are, and they're just friends, but I still see love being portrayed and given to me that I never saw from my husband. And I mean, just sitting in that, I'm like, why are you being so nice to me? Like, go away. And I feel myself self-sabotaging, like these nice, like the universe is saying, like, I'm trying to give you love because this is what you need. And you're just pushing it away. Let down your walls. Listen to the red flags. Pay attention and let be what is. Because everything that you desire, if you can understand, if you can get to a point that whatever you believe and desire so deeply is already done, then the moment that you open your eyes, you're looking for evidence. Look for evidence, and it will come. I'm like never good with endings. I need to come up with something of an ending. And done. Scene.
No, I love
the
what you're
mic.
saying. That receiving part is huge. And I went and I don't know how much I've shared, but 3 years, we broke up. I went 3 years being single, and I loved the single life, but what I focused on was just me and healing and do journaling in the morning. And I did that, like what you're talking about, your higher self writing, and you would have to go back And I've even read it just recently, like, wow, that's where I was at. It was the launch of my program. It was the day I launched it and the day I closed on this house. And I was like, wow, that's interesting that that came across my desk today. And it's like, I was finally in a place where I could receive what it was the universe wanted to, it was already done, wanted to give me. And I remember even texting a friend of mine. I was on my balcony having my coffee. It was a weekend. I didn't have my kids. It was a beautiful September day. And I would just sit there. There's a fountain across the street from me, and I would just meditate. And I would just focus on that sound. And then all of a sudden I heard another sound, and it was a hummingbird that was coming to feed in the little flowers that I had on my balcony. And when I felt the most alignment is when that hummingbird would come. And I'd kind of get, I wouldn't get taken out, but I'd open my eyes and I'm like, wow, I know I did that. That was the universe saying, you're in a good place. You're in a good place. And I'm like, let's see if I can do that again. And I just go back to it. And I just had this hummingbird come back and forth like 5 or 6 times. And it was just the most peaceful, the most aligning meditation I think I'd ever had. And I even texted my girlfriend, you will not believe, like, this was the best. I just needed to share this with somebody because this was the best meditation that I've just felt so much calm, so much peace, clarity, not even like on what to do, but just clarity of just who I was and what was going to be at some point. And that's when Brian actually texted me for the first time in ages. And I was like, that is one of the reasons why I know that this is right, because of where I was when it came into my life. Every person that I chose, covert narcissist, other kind of narcissist, I was broken and I was choosing from a broken place. But when I got the focus off of who can I let come in my world that's going to tell me I'm valuable or that I'm worthy, and just kept telling myself that I am and focusing on me and totally letting go of any of the things I dreamt about having in a partner. I knew I'd have it one day, but I just really let it go and said, it'll be here. It'll come. And I really just enjoyed being with me. And that's when the universe provided it. But I never had that kind of alignment before when it came to a partner of any kind. So that I loved your message. Have you ever read the book Untethered Soul?
No, and you know what? Gosh dog it, this is the 3rd time that I've heard it, so now I have to read it.
It's fantastic. It's everything that you were talking about. It's by an author named Michael Singer, and he did also the Surrender Experiment. Maisie, I'm telling you, like,
so I read that.
Okay, so it's the same author, and he does Untethered Soul, and it is about emotions and energy and how we cover it up because we don't want anything to hit it. But what that ultimately does is make everything hit it, because that's where we're giving the focus and attention to protect it. So when we let it go and let that energy flow up and out of us, that's when true healing, and that's how we're untouchable in that trauma and that pain. And it's sometimes like, okay, I get that up here, but how do I get that in here, you know? And it's kind of like, it takes a second for the connection to happen, but it's a great, great book. And I listen to it multiple times because you hear it differently every time.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I love
That's
that
awesome.
message. Does anybody else have any comments, observations, things to share? How did that hit everybody? I took lots of notes. I like going back
Give
and
me your
looking at my
worst.
notes.
Tell me how horrible it was.
No, it was awesome. And I think you're right when it comes to something that resonated with me is the first thing, time to cut cord and let it go. I'm kind of at a crossroads with something, I think even myself. And it's like, but this was my plan. This is what I worked so hard for. And now you're telling me it may not be what I designed it to be or wanted it to be. And it's like, I'm not ready to let that go. But it's almost like the universe is kind of like, okay, well, we're not gonna let anything flow there. So
That's
we'll just give you time.
That's so funny that you say that, because when I was meditating on it, I kept hearing your name pop up, and I was like, "Well, she's going to be a part of today's lesson. Hopefully, we're not doing anything rough.
No,
Just let me deliver." I did, and
no,
I was
that was
like,
great. I
"Oh,
think I loved it. I think it's incredible to be able, and you kind of know, I think we all know that nagging, that, I mean, it's fear. It's fear and anxiety, and fear of the unknown. I mean, how scary is it to, I mean, your situation, like to leave and to not be like, I don't know where we're gonna live. Like basic needs are like question marks. And that I had all of that. But when I went through my process, and I learned so much through even just the process of leaving and standing on my own 2 feet and doing these very scary things that I've never done before, I learned so much about surrender and like not putting meaning to things that happen to you in your day. That's a big one, like not worrying about the feedback all the time of this. And it's like, okay, I'm just going to keep my alignment. And it's like you go back and forth on putting meaning to it and then letting it go and putting meaning to it and letting it go. And then, I mean, we make it so much harder than it needs to be. It
because we're
can
trying to
be
make sense
easy.
of it. We're just trying to logically put the answers together, and we
Yeah.
can't.
We're trying to
It's just we're
wrestle it to the ground.
and we can't.
And you
I
just need
tell
to go
you,
for a walk.
this is the freest I have ever felt. Like there are some days I feel like I'm just floating through the pitch blackness, and the stars are just all around me in the universe. I just feel like I'm just free falling, and I'm like, you know what? Let me land where you want me to land. I trust that much, because at this point, this is the safest I have ever felt. I have not, that word has always been hard for me. My therapist has even
Right.
been like, we shouldn't use that word right now. I'm like, we shouldn't, because it's a hard word for me. But feeling safe in, like, in a friendship, that has always been difficult, because it's all those tethered ties to all the trauma response. And it's like, a friend is going to hurt me too. And those two guy friends, it's like, I was meditating on it the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, why do I feel so safe? Don't say that. Don't go that way. But then it's like, this actually feels very nice. Why does it feel
Right.
so nice? And they're just friends. Like,
Yeah.
this is how much meaning we give to each and every relationship when we're that tethered to trauma. So it's just like, it's freeing. It's like, I don't have to tell anybody where I'm going.
Yeah.
I went and ate dinner by myself last night and got a margarita. I was like, woo, this is the life.
The little things, right? I feel like the word trust was the same for me. Like yours was triggery with the word safe, which there was a lot of trauma around that word for me as well. But mine was trust, because I had been cheated on so many times and lied to so many times. And I still was around trying to make something square fit in a round hole, type of thing. And I started gaining more and more trust, not because of the people that came into my life or left my life. It was because I started to trust myself. When you feel safe or trust in yourself that the only person that needs to and can and will take care of you and that needs to take care of you is you. And the more I started trusting myself in my judgment, because I questioned my judgment, I questioned my strength, my ability to do anything on my own, the more and more I stepped further into that space. I trust myself more than anything on the planet. And that has translated into being able to trust in other relationships, not because of what they do, because of who I am. And that is a very, very calming place to be. Does this resonate with anybody? Does anybody have something they want to hop in anytime, you guys? Because I feel you. I feel it going on. I feel energy. Jamie, I know you resonate with this.
Oh yeah. I feel like I'm actually kind of a little further along just in my journey, just because I've gone through what you guys have gone through. I've been through the divorce, I've remarried, I'm happily remarried. Now it took a long time, but yes, safe was a huge thing. And I've finally, I think, have come to the other side of my trauma is no longer going to control me. I'm going to control it. And so that has allowed me to receive and be loved. And I finally, for the first time ever, I'm like, okay, this guy has earned my trust. He is the safest place on the planet, and I'm going to give it all to him. And if he fucks me, it is what it is. I already know how to do that. You know, I already know how to build that wall and be strong, but I'm going to trust it. I'm going to let go, and I'm just going to free fall and be each other's rocks, you know. And you can't, you know, I'm done with that wall. I'm done with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of work keeping up the walls. And that, like, when Maisie was talking about being in your masculine and then your feminine, like, when we're in our masculine so much, it's very hard for our partners to step into that masculine, because there's this polarity that needs to happen in relationships. And if we're constantly in our masculine, they're trying to balance this, and through probably not even consciously knowing that that's going on, but two people in their masculine all the time does not draw those two people together. It separates. Stacy's like, it's scary though,
But I
to
mean,
step into that feminine and receive. It's like,
mm-hmm.
but what if I fall? What
then
if
you're
I get
just in the
hurt?
feminine. But then you're just in the feminine. It doesn't mean that you quickly jump back to the masculine. See, that was always me. That was always
Right.
me. I had to carry more masculine so I do a lot of astrology stuff, and I look at astrology charts, and I do that with my clients and see where their past traumas were, where their current traumas are, what is the shit that they're supposed to walk through in this life, and let's fix it now. So I was looking a lot between mine and, you know, my ex's chart. And it's so weird to say that because legally we're still married, but we're just separated. But I'm going to get used to saying
He's your ex.
So my chart actually has more feminine than it does masculine. Like I'm a 7 out of 10 for feminine. And I was shocked when I was looking at it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm operating in the wrong energy. So therefore, I'm actually demasculating myself, and I'm taking away my own power. When we operate in the energy that we are supposed to be in, we become this unstoppable force. So I started working with doing more of, like, my Lilith is in the 8th house, and I can't even remember. I think it's in Scorpio Capricorn. And just sitting in that, it was like, no, Scorpio, because I was like, well, shit, I've got a lot of trauma that I'm supposed to walk through. And I remember being like, I was looking up, you know, some of the things with it, and it was like rape, molestation. And I'm like, well, shit, here we are. Please keep telling me my life, and we'll go ahead and figure this out. So I started like sitting there with, like I'm gonna ask Lilith for help in being more feminine. Like, what is the feminine, powerful side of me? And I kept having all these dreams of running away from my own power. Like there would literally be, and I have dark dreams. So my Saturn is in the 9th house, which means that I sit between and it's so weird because my tattoo is very similar. So it's got a light side and a dark side, and I trail this line here. I can easily be in the dark and be in the light and draw people to it no matter what. So I used to have, this is where my medium and psychic stuff kind of comes into play. But as a kid, I would always have demons that were like chasing me down in my dreams. And I'm talking legit demons. Couldn't get out of it. I mean, panic, fear, all that kind of stuff. And I would be visited by demons and just everything. And going through the last few years so just this year alone, realizing, oh, this is why I got to see all these horrible things, was because I can operate between both worlds. And knowing that is really, really powerful, to be able to take a lot of the trauma, which is the darkness, right? A lot of the dark things, and bring it over to the light in a new healing. So this all goes to say that when you're sitting where you're supposed to be and you're in the energy that you're supposed to be in, you're not running away from your power. You're actually more powerful than you've ever been. This is the most power I have ever felt by not shutting down, but stepping away from the masculinity and being like, okay, show me my feminine side. And it doesn't mean dress up, pretty makeup, all this pearls and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. It's not what it is. It is being in a place of receiving, being in a place of flow and steadiness, being in a place of readiness and open to what is yours to come. So just sitting back and letting be what is. So if somebody wants to treat me nicely, if somebody wants to take me to dinner, instead of being like, well, I feel the need that I have to pay for this because I'm the breadwinner. No. Okay. Where are we going? And being okay with surprises. There was a guy friend who had put me in a trauma state, and he wanted to just come out and buy me a drink. That was it. Was trying to surprise me and be nice and all that. Well, I had a stalker back when I was younger, and I mean, slept in a parking lot, in my car because I couldn't go home. My parents had pulled a knife on him and a gun on him because we couldn't get him to leave. It was that serious. And that traumatized me, having to sleep in a parking lot because I was in this place of, what if he shows up? What if somehow he knows where I am? So this guy sent a picture, and he was like, look, I'm sitting in front of the restaurant, but I don't see your car. And I was like, oh, we'll change the plans. I went elsewhere. What are you doing there? And I really had to take a step back and be like, no. This is not the same situation. This person genuinely wants to give to you, and this is your moment to receive. And I was like, rain check. Sorry that I burst your plans. But I started telling the universe that day, believe it or not, that morning, I'm willing to accept surprises. Show me what you got. I didn't think it was going to be that bad. But, and that, that pushback of trauma, but it became a self-awareness of, no. This is what I want to receive. I want surprises. I like surprises. I never have liked surprises. I need to know everything. No. Okay. Show me what's up. Tell me what I don't know.
I think the receiving is challenging for a lot of women. For a lot of different reasons. We're giving a lot to our children, our spouses, and there's almost like this expectation that it needs to come from us. And then to be able to receive is like, I don't even know what that feels like. Like, what does that mean? You go do something for me and you did that deal? And then we feel guilty. We feel like we owe them. Like it's this scorekeeping thing. And
I think that is total narcissist. Like,
no,
totally.
you're absolutely right.
Oh my God. Like everything is transactional, everything is transactional. And in a healthy relationship, my husband now, he's like, Jamie, this is not a tip for, because I want to resort back to old behaviors because, oh, well, you got this. So now, or, I got this. Now you need to get this. And he's like, that's not how this works.
Well, and part of it was I had the covert narcissist going on. So there was the love bomb phase and then the total switch when it was like too late. And it was like, wait a minute, you insisted on all of this, and I was already like in that receiving mode and open, and then it's like bam, they like nail you with this devaluing and discard and just trauma bonding, and you're just it is diabolical going
Yep.
through 10 years of that. And so when I took that 3-year hiatus, I practiced receiving, but I practiced receiving from friends and
Yep.
family. I did not have to have this receiving from a man, you know, in a romantic sense. It's just receiving from people in your life and truly accepting it, not like, okay, I'll accept this, but I'm not going to like it. You know, that's not receiving either.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're so right. So, no, and perfect example of this. So one of the guy friends that like he was like, I want to give you, I don't know, he gets all these gifts and things like that. So these coffee mugs and stuff like that. And he works for Community Coffee. He's like one of the big wigs. And he was like, well, I'll get you some bags of coffee. And I was like, because I couldn't buy this one blend of Community Coffee that I'm completely obsessed with, and I couldn't find any bag. Like they're all gone. And he was like, well, I'll just get a couple bags and bring them to you. And I'm like, for what? Okay, like how much do I owe you? He's a photographer
Right.
and a filmographer. And I call him Hollywood because he works alongside like Yellowstone and all that kind of stuff, doing
Oh, okay.
filmography and all that kind of stuff. And he has a picture of a wolf that is very similar to my tattoo. It's actually how our conversation ever started. And he was like, I have a canvas I want to give you. And I was like, how much do I have to owe you for this canvas? Like, what do you want in return? Like, nothing. Can you just accept a gift? And I'm like, no, I can't.
No.
Because
I-
being in a covert narcissistic relationship, it's always transactional. Like, my gosh, if my ex was gonna hold my hand, shit, I have to give it up later. Like, there's
Yeah,
no
right.
ifs or buts. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, yay. But there was no emotional attachment there. So just to be like you're saying, like receive from friends was always hard, but I'm learning to do it from my family. And when my parents say you don't have to pay me back for anything, I'm like, I'm gonna pay you back. Thank you.
I think it's, you know, it's interesting because when you're receiving something that someone wants to give, think about what that giving to them means to them. And so I have a neighbor across the street. She's elderly, and she was always the one doing things for everyone. When she's sick now and she has to be in this receiving, it's very, very hard for her to do that. And I'm just like, Hilma, listen, how did it make you feel when you did things for other people? And she goes, oh, like $1,000,000. I go, let me feel like $1,000,000. Let me
Aww.
feel what you got to feel when you helped other people. And if you look at it that way, I think that helps bridge that gap where it's like, it's a blessing to give, right? Like anytime we give to somebody, it really makes you feel and serve in any way. That's why that's how I get out of my head and out of my shit, you know, and out of my own way is to serve. Think about what could this do for this person. They're probably dealing with some stuff and they just need to reach out and serve someone else. And universe knew I needed this at this very moment. And it's just this ebb and the flow of all of these things. And that's how I was able to get more into my feminine so much more. Now it's like second nature. I don't think about it at all. My boys want to do something for me. They're so giving. I don't feel awkward. I don't feel like, oh, I'm going to have to do this for them because I'm the mom. I'm the one that's really supposed to be. How much can I bless my kids and they're going to do something for another person? How much that makes them feel amazing. Like that's a gift. You're giving them that gift of giving.
Yep.
And
And again,
interestingly, with being in this time of year is hugely woven with all of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're slowing down. It's a season of slow, but yet society makes us want to be fast paced, you know, and that's another thing. Society makes women be in masculine energy. Think about
That's
it,
so
you know,
true.
the power woman. It's how it's supposed to be. It's okay to have that. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it dominates everything that you do, there's an issue. Men also need to be more in tune with their feminine side. There are some men, so like my ex, he's a 7 out of 10 on feminine. I was like, how the fuck were we ever meant to be together? Who we're both looking to receive, and neither one of us are at this point, I'm no longer willing to give. So what are you gonna
Mhm.
give? Nothing. So I'm out, you know? But go find what you need elsewhere. Like, that is my purest intention. It is not me, boo. I mean, shit, we've been friends since first grade. I'm okay shutting that switch off and being a friend again, but I'm not your friend in that manner. I'm not your masculine to your feminine. So
Mhm.
that's something that we can, you know, really be asking for. Show up, even if it's a friend, a family member, whatever. Show me the masculine that matches my feminine, or show me the feminine that matches my masculine. That way, you know where you're giving and receiving. And when those people show up for you and those situations occur, you've got more of an awareness of, this is what I asked for. This is what I need.
Mhm.
This is my space to be. So this is good.
Yeah.
This is deep.
I love it. I love the connection that I was talking to a dear friend of mine who I texted when I had that amazing meditation. She's so close to me, and she's like, you know what my word is? Because like every year, and I'm thinking about what's my word going to be in 2023. But hers, she's like, it's connection I'm looking for, just connection. And so she's like, I'm not going to put it in a box where I must get connection from a romantic man, relationship. Like, she's just looking for connection with anything the universe wants to provide. And then when you receive, you're in that mode of, okay, now I'm ready to really get, because she has somebody, everybody has that person if that's what you desire. And it can be that dream person. I've wanted to be treated like a queen, but also I have this dichotomy of like, I want you to take care of me, but you let me do it my goddamn self. Like, I want both. I want, I want you to worry about me, but trust that I can take care of myself all in the same moment. I want to feel the most full of butter in your arms, but also be able to take control any second I get. Like, I want both, and it's going to take a special man to be able to do that dance with me. And it's like, I'm in this space of like, wow, this actually can happen. Like, this is, and he had that same doubts of finding a woman that would be what he wanted as far as that connection is concerned. And I don't think that is necessarily, that's something we all desire as these beings, our inner beings, our physical, it just kind of is where we're kind of chilling for now, but it's like that connection with other people in the way, and to be able to receive those things from people that we give as well to, and like be able to do this dance but not keep score.
Yep.
Like that,
It's
that's
unconditional.
Unconditional. And that was my word whenever I was going through my divorce and trying to make it work and not make it work, and like I don't even know where I'm at, but I'm like, okay, universe, what I just want to become is an unconditional person. Like, it doesn't matter what this other person is doing. When I was finally released from that, then I felt released to finally leave, because I knew I wasn't doing it because I was running from something. I was going towards my new higher level self. So it's never good to leave because you want to get away. It's good when you're going somewhere.
Yep.
And that to me is just, the unconditional is huge.
Mm-hmm.
To not be unconditional, not look for that from somebody else, but to be unconditional.
Oh, yeah.
And that means staying in your own lane. That means somebody is trying to pull you out of alignment, then you're really like, you know what, I'm good right where I'm at. I'll just hold this space for you, and having faith that they're going to find their way back into their alignment, into their lane, and allowing them to find that journey of their own, because there's so much growth that can happen when they do that, and not being that for everybody. How many times of us, either as a spouse or a mama, feels like we have to make everything okay for everybody else? We can't feather everyone's nest. My kids kind of struggle, and I'm like, okay, I see you. You're okay. You're good. Just struggle a little bit. Learn the things that you need to learn along the way. I can't come and tell them that they've got to do this, 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 and this, and then they won't have that struggle. I think there's value in the struggle, and they learn so much. I don't know if this resonates with anybody, but I was just kind of getting that download, like trying to make sure that our children don't struggle. And, that's not helping them, really. That's like taking
Not how the real
every,
world is.
so if it's something that maybe you feel guilty about for whatever, I'd rather them go through some struggle with me by their side to just love on them and to hold them and to give them that safe place to say, I'm struggling. I don't know where to be in this situation. And then just can say, just be where you are. You can feel it fully, because that's the best time, that's the times I've learned the most. And to allow, and it's not just children. I think it can be your partners, could be your family members or whatever, but to allow them to feel that and to navigate that on their own is really a gift, instead of trying to navigate it for them. So that, because it's really our pain that we're trying to solve, right? We don't like to see people we love to struggle because it's painful for us. So it's really very selfish.
Yeah.
Very selfish thing when we're trying to make the pain go away for our loved ones, because it makes me uncomfortable. But if we can get comfortable in the uncomfortable and just be like, wow, isn't this interesting? This is an amazing opportunity, and just kind of come at it from a curiosity standpoint instead of I have to fix and solve it. That I'm a fixer. Hi, my name is Leah. I'm a fixer.
Okay, I call myself a recovered codependent.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then when I'm just like, let it go. Just let it all go. My son might be, according to my oldest son, who talked to his little brothers, they might be getting into a little bit of weed smoking. And I'm like, okay. I'm not going to start drug testing him. I'm not going to, I'm going to just be there, and he might have to dabble in that a little bit. He might have to explore something and realize that that's no way to cope. Or if his behavior or job, if his responsibilities start to slide, then I know it's getting out of control. But it's a very different response than I had with my oldest son when I was randomly drug testing him and trying to control him and get him to do certain things and to be a certain way. And he just bucked me hard. And I learned as a parent, okay, you got to let them have some autonomy, and they're going to be a stronger person for that, to figure those things out on their own than me trying to herd the cats, if you will. I don't know. That just kind of downloaded for me. So does anybody have anything else they would like to share? We can wrap it up. Amazing call, Maisie. I love your insight and your lessons, and
Thank you.
it's refreshing. It's refreshing because we talk a lot about meal plans, workouts, all of our practical application of things, which are very valuable and very good too. But I'm in total agreement with you that if we're seeing some stall out, the answer doesn't necessarily, well, get more on your meal plan or get better on your workout split. We got to get down to what's underlying why we're maybe not executing these things the way that we know we should. And it doesn't have anything to do with understanding it or even liking it, or having
Mhm.
motivation or not having motivation. It doesn't have anything to do with motivation. It's
Yeah.
what are we allowing to rob us of stepping into that power. And like you said, if you believe it is, it will be. And just believing that it already exists. And then the how is going to be kind of a surprise.
All the fun things.
Well,
Well, like
I'm
I said, we
honestly
can wrap.
thoroughly confused.
Oh no. Okay.
I mean, I just don't know, like, what is trauma-based confusion, or what is, you know, I don't know. I guess I just don't know what the deal is with me.
Okay.
I think
So
maybe I need a reading or something. I mean, I'm just not getting it, you know? Does that make sense at all? I'm just not understanding.
what are you not understanding?
Well, that if what is going on with me is trauma-based or not, or is it just, am I at a crossroads? Is there something wrong with me? Like, what the hell?
Right.
That's what I don't get it right now.
I think this would be a great thing to pick up next time. I know Maisie has a meeting she needs to get to, but I'd love to explore that. And then maybe, I know you and I have a conversation, Stacy, to be had this week. So I'd love to explore that. So we can definitely dive into that, I think.
I don't want to sit here and act like I'm not listening, but I mean, I'm just trying to figure out where I'm falling in all this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We will.
I
You
don't
can
want to seem
also-
uninitiative.
You can also send me a message. Like if there's things that you want to discuss, that's something Lee and I had talked about. You're welcome to message me, and we can just kind of dig a little bit deeper, just see at least where the root is, or address some current issues or past issues, and then just see, where a care plan, as I call it, might need to come into play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I definitely feel that from you, Stacy, and just knowing everything that we've talked about. I think that is a really good plan. So let's do that. Let's touch base outside of the group and explore that more.
Okay. Thank
Good.
you.
Awesome. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I love you all so much. Again, thank you so much for showing up for yourselves, and Maisie bringing her wonderful energy and abilities to us. I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you. And I will see you guys next month.
All right. Thank
Sounds
you.
great. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye.